Hello, hello. I think we are live. Welcome, Vincent Delbaere, HR Director at Euroclear.
Thank you, Jim. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us in our first coffee break. It's like a short webinar where we, contact companies, contact people to explain a little bit how they contribute to happiness at work, to well-being. And you're the first, so first of all, how are you doing?
And today I'm doing very well and especially excited to be the first one here on the webinar of the virtual coffee break, I would say, from your side. And besides that, also, we are still in January timeframe, looking forward, I would say, for the best wishes, but then a healthy 2022 and
Yeah,
looking forward to re-establish, I would call it, human connections again everywhere around the world.
yeah. Now you work for Euroclear. How long are you in Euroclear, and what kind of business is that?
Yeah. So, in a nutshell, maybe to present myself, Euroclear is a financial market infrastructure company. We are present from a worldwide perspective with 4,000 employees. The headquarters are located within Belgium, Brussels, and I'm taking up the role as HR business partner for the global support and headquarters divisions. And I'm working since 2006 at Euroclear. Our business is mainly within financial services. We are doing clearing and settlement of transactions between the stock exchanges for financial institutions, for banks, and we do that worldwide. So it's really, let's say, we have different locations within Europe, within Asia, also within US.
Okay, and you are already mentioning. I think Euroclear is a stock company themselves.
No, we are not on a stock exchange listed company. That's indeed not the case, but we are looking, let's say, always to work with dedicated clients from a worldwide perspective.
Okay. Now you are in a rather big company, and yeah, you implemented well-being in that company. Is that correct?
Correct. So what we did do is looking to the year 2020 when COVID was started, we switched it on to work, let's say, from home, from, let's say, one day to the other. But at the same moment, we already had different elements from a health and from a well-being perspective in the company. But what the aim was to come up with one global program on well-being. And we started with a well-being strategy based upon 5 pillars. The first one is related to health, focusing on physical health, mental health. The second about human interactions between the leaders, the people managers, and the employees. And that is then leading towards a positive engagement with the employees, with all of the staff, with all of the team members. The fourth element is about joy at work. Really, we are not talking about happiness, but really about joy, that everybody should have the pleasure to come to work, but also to work for Euroclear. And then the fifth element, and that's a really important one, is a sense of belonging. The sense of belonging that you are, as an employee, as indeed an individual, connected to Euroclear as a company, but also connected, let's say, to the full, what we are calling the family within Euroclear.
Okay. And you started in 2020. Was there a specific reason why you started?
Yes, what we did see, let's say, the background is coming back to say, if you are looking to the different countries, looking, let's say, to different locations with COVID, we have received, let's say, different inputs where we wanted to have one well-being strategy worldwide so that we would be able to deliver a support towards all employees and all leaders in every location at the same level of service, but also at the same level of support. And what we've implemented is what we are calling the We Care program. It's really, let's say, focusing on all of the support worldwide, but also internal support and external support to our employees and towards our people managers and leaders. And if I'm talking about internal support, we have established certain level of support from an internal perspective with nurses, social nurses that are present. We have dedicated stress coaches within our company. Besides that, we also have career coaches if there are some questions about life questions popping up. And if that's not the only element, if there's needed support from an external perspective, we have globally an employee assistance program. So from everywhere within the world, every employee will have the same, what we are calling well-being experience, to get support, to get help, but also at the same moment that we are delivering a qualitative support from internal and external.
Mm-hmm. And was it really COVID that was the cause of implementing this well-being strategy?
It was coming from different elements. COVID was indeed one of the main elements, or the starting point. The second starting point was really to look from, I would call it, instead of a global, more, let's say, a local approach, that we wanted to see what are the best practices that are already existing on different countries and that we can bring it from a global perspective. So we have been working with a transversal project team and looking from all of the elements that were already existing or that were missing. Everything has been put together under the umbrella of We Care. We established also a dedicated, I would call it SharePoint with a focus on the body, SharePoint focusing also on the mindset for all of the employees. And besides that, we listed a number of webinars. We initiated a number of webinars focusing on the health, but also on beating stress, focusing on sleep, focusing on your energy. And related to that, it was really a big step going forward if we are looking to establish this global program. Because if you are now working in the UK or within US or within Asia or within Belgium, you have the right to have the dedicated support from our company. And in that case, we achieved that with the We Care Global Wellbeing Program.
Yeah. Okay. I suppose that it takes a lot of time to prepare these things. How long before COVID were you already thinking about this approach?
Well, we started, let's say, a bit before COVID, but also during the COVID period, we have been putting our act together. I would say we started with an agile squad where a number of people from different locations within HR, but also prevention services, the health, but also from business, were also working together and to focus towards short-term deliverables, short-term actions that would be coming to the needs of the employees and the organization at that specific moment. We have been working in what we are calling several sprints to get, let's say, towards a clear action. Could be, let's say, a training, a development, a web page up and running, but also best practices to be shared. And in a nutshell, I would call it that it has taken us 6 months to prepare and to come into life. We have fully implemented during 2021 in Q1, so meaning February, March timeframe of last year, the full program. But before that, it was 6 months of preparation together within the Agile squad, within the project team, and coming up with different deliverables, and then to come out with one global program consisting of different elements on the mental and on the health perspective from body.
Okay. And then do you see already the first results?
Yes, what you need to know is that we are saying, okay, with one program, this is not the only point that you would make a kind of short-term result. We want to make it sustainable. What we are doing within our company is really to have a pulse check really per quarter. So per 3 months, we are going back to all of the employees to say, how are you doing? And that's also the name of the pulse check is, how are you? And based upon a short turn of questions, we are asking, how can we support you? How are you doing? But at the same moment also to see what is support that you get from your leadership team, from your manager. What can we do better? What should be improved? And based upon that, we are increasing our service delivery. And at the same moment, we know where the organization is standing. At the same moment, we have seen a drop in our number of absenteeism during 2021 due to the We Care program, also due to the fact that we are supporting our organization, our employees. And on top of that, we did see also an increase in employee engagement. So indeed, those are very positive signals. That does also mean that we should not complacent and we should continue with our efforts. And in that case, it's meaning that we continue with the How Are You survey on a quarterly basis. And on a yearly basis, we are also doing the employee survey to understand what is the level of engagement and taking short overview of what's going well, what are indeed the company, and how can we boost that energy.
Yeah. And do you get as an HR director then a specific budget to finance everything, or is that how is that done? And is it like worth doing it from a financial point of view?
Absolutely, and absolutely, I would call it a great question, because you can not do it alone from an HR perspective. You should have the buy-in from your CEO. You should have the buy-in from your CFO, mainly, let's say, from the full executive management team. We did agree with our management team to full budget coming from our CFO to support the well-being on a sustainable duration. And sustainable is not 3 months, but for the upcoming, let's say, 3 years. And on top of that, also to have the resources to be able, let's say, to put in place the necessary support. Is it from an internal or from an external perspective? I give you one example. We are looking also from working from home. I'm currently working from home due to the COVID measures that we have in our location. But besides that, we are also thinking and working out what we are calling the flexi model. That's about flexibility for the employer and flexibility for the employee. In that case, where you will work is becoming much more independent of the activity of work that you will do. In the sense that we are looking as an employer to say, you will be able to work from home, you will be able to work in the office. Now, to be able to work from home, also their well-being is a key milestone for us. So we did foresee for all of our employees home working equipment, meaning also an ergonomic chair, also a second screen, also a wireless headset. So from that side, that you are really looking to have the best in place from a working environment, if it's now at home or within the office. Mm-hmm. So, and in a nutshell, it should be a transversal decision from your executive management team, and they should be behind you, let's say, to get towards the implementation. And that's the case at Euroclear.
Yeah. Some people from our community, they asked me if I could ask you if you faced some pitfalls during the implementation.
Yeah, absolutely. During the implementation, you have your plan, you have your dedicated approach, I would say, but it's not always going, let's say, so smooth or so easy. Most important is that we were looking to increase our well-being and especially the human connection. And when we implemented in Q1 2021, still our program of the We Care, we were hoping that we would be able to come together and to organize also what we would call open the door at our premises, our facilities. At the same moment also that we would get out of the COVID lockdown period. And that was absolutely not the case. So we needed to rechange our program that it could be done virtually, also with the necessary energy from home, from everywhere worldwide. And that worked. And how we did pick that up is during the May timeframe, we did focus on during a full 30 days on well-being, on the week care. We did organize yoga sessions, Zumba sessions. We did look to mental resilience, webinars on how to focus on your stress, how to keep your stress under balance. But at the same moment, we organized also a We Move program, a We Move challenge, where we were saying, okay, maybe we cannot be together, but let's try to be together virtually. So let's achieve 100,000 kilometers as a company to walk, to run, to cycle, to swim, to do sports activities. And that we achieved, we overachieved even, let's say, that threshold, or let's say the 100,000 kilometers. And that was really fun because it was during the May time frame. There was still lockdown in some of the locations within the world, but we were connected virtually, and that was creating also a sense of belonging.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Very nice. Do you have examples of best practices?
Yes. One of the examples I want to share is often we get a question towards HR, or let's say towards from a business manager, that some people are not okay. And in that case, to say, how can you help? Can HR offer some help? What we have been looking is from an external perspective on two elements. The first element was to say we should be able to deliver a tool or an offer towards each employee to assess your personal well-being from a professional situation, but also from a private situation. And we find the tool. We have been allocating the tool to all our employees on a voluntary basis worldwide. And you were able, let's say, to do this online survey, which is then resulting in a full report for yourself to understand what is giving you energy, what is taking energy from you on a professional side, but also on the personal side. Because some people think if you go to work, it's only professional, but it has an impact from both ends. And that was really helpful. We had more than 650 people completing the survey, and based upon that, also giving an individual action report to themselves, not to HR, not to prevention, not to, let's say, anybody else, but due to GDPR, to the individual itself, with an action plan. And in the action plan, indicating what they could do themselves, but also if they need some support, where they can find back the support. That's one. The second example that we did offer is worldwide, we have been implementing an employee assistance program because we did receive dedicated questions that were coming into the space of HR that are in fact not under the responsibility of HR, but that we want to help and to support our employees in the family situation or in the relationship or the kids or the partner. And to be able to do so, that you are saying, okay, you should come to work in your best self and with your best identity. Therefore, we have offered this employee assistance program worldwide, and that's been very significant from an investment perspective, but really also from our perspective, HR, it's giving a lot of satisfaction towards the employees, and that's really appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned 650 people made use of the possibilities. Is that like the number of people involved in this well-being initiative?
No, more people involved in the initiative. To give you, let's say, some numbers or statistics, if we are looking, we are working with 4,000 employees worldwide. We have been doing the well-being initiative on the We Care program. There we had more than 1,500 people joining webinars, online trainings, sessions, etc. Looking, let's say, to the We Move program, we were reaching 800 people that were doing walking, running, cycling, swimming, etc. And here, the people, the 650, were really people that had a need to get an individual action plan for themselves. and it's not open at a certain moment, but it's really open during a full year. So you can take the action and the survey not only once, but you can do it several times within the year, that you say, I have some peaks and I'm not feeling well, I'm not okay, so I can do, let's say, the survey at that moment. If you are looking to how many people have worked from an agile squad perspective on the well-being, it was really about 20, 25 people that were involved to make it happen from a worldwide perspective.
Yeah. So in general, how many of your people in percentage are like making use of the well-being possibilities that you're offering?
I would say if we are looking into the company, because it's not always the same person who's using, let's say, the same level of support or the same activity, we are reaching, let's say, between 60 to 75% of the employees, which is really great, Now, the point that we are indicating is, if you are if you have a positive mindset, if you have a grow mindset, most of the time you are very open, let's say, to get the support. But we are also very cautious, and we are very attentive to the people who would need support, that are not thinking like that. So that's why that we launched the slogan, it's okay not to be okay, and to come up to really speak up. If you need support, you should not be ashamed. We are there to help you. We are there, let's say, to see what is the dedicated support from an employer perspective, internally or externally. And that has helped also, that we are getting away from the point to say, we are indeed a warm company, but people are sometimes afraid to come out and to say, I need some help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we spoke before about you will visit our conference in June. Hopefully, it will go ahead this year. What is your main hope to get there? What is your main reason why you go into our Happiness at Work conference?
Yeah. Normally, I have, let's say, two elements that are for me really key. The first one is to get to know, let's say, what's happening in the market of well-being and happiness and joy, because well-being can be perceived, let's say, from different angles, from different perspectives. And what's really important is, in the current organization, in the current business environment, well-being is a fundament, I would call it, from the people strategy of each company, especially with the COVID times, especially with what's happening in the market, but also within the talent landscape. And the second point is to see if we are looking to have human interactions, human connections again, to learn from each other. That's the most important, because every company is different. The different programs can touch on different elements from a well-being perspective, but you can also learn and to be open and to be listening and having really, let's say, a glance what other companies or other people are doing. That's always, let's say, wonderful.
Yeah, that's fantastic to hear and to see you there in June. Now, my last question: do you have an advice for people who are thinking about implementing well-being in their company? Do you have like a short advice for them?
Yeah, my advice would be, the first element that you need to do is to have a listening ear to the business, to the employees, to the different layers within the company, to say what's working well, what's not working well. The second element is there really to have a view on, if you are looking to short-term actions and long-term actions of well-being, what do you want to implement? You want to have a sustainable well-being strategy for your company, which is really adjustable to your business, to your industry. So it's really important to have this fit from the company perspective, from the business needs, and then to have a view from your side. And the last piece is, you cannot do that alone. You need to have the buy-in from your CEO. You need to have the buy-in from your executive management team. And only at that moment, you are able, let's say, to proceed and to make it happen. And therefore, the last point is, you need to have a passion for well-being, because there the speed of implementing will go twice once that the passion is there from your side to the other colleagues, you will double the speed of implementation.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You got already like some compliments from India. So they are telling like great slogan. It's okay not to be okay. So
Thank you, Jim. It's a pleasure to be here. So I would say thanks a lot for the invitation, and have a nice afternoon, a nice morning, or a nice evening.
Yeah, thank you very much for contributing in our mission to make the business world mainly a happier and healthier place. So
thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye bye.